Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone, where we're here to bring you live uninterrupted commentary of this Betfred Championship Round 12 clash between Featherstone Rovers and York City Knights. Featherstone come into this game on the back of a 3-game losing streak, of course suffering heartbreaking defeat in the last minute away at Sheffield last time out, looking to bounce back and cement themselves in the Championship's top 6, and in their path is a formidable looking York side who, after a poor start to the season under Andrew Henderson, in the recent weeks have hit some good form, winning 3 of their last 4 games. Mark Applegarth, of course, taking charge of just his first game of the club last time out. We're just a few minutes away from kick-off here. The team news is in. We'll start with York, who make just one change to the side that comfortably beat Dewsbury 40 points to nil last time out, with Sam Cook making way for Jacob Gannon in the 17. Jacob Gannon, of course, on a season-long loan from the Lee Leopards. So York line up like this. Will Dagger is the fullback, three-quarter line of Joe Brown, Nico Williams, Jimmy Kinehorst and Brad Ward. Liam Harris partners Atta Hingano in the halves. Up front for the City Knights, Akuma Tai, Will Job, Jordan Thompson, with Ollie Field, Connor Bailey and Jacob Gannon at loose forward. On the bench for York, Connor Fitzsimmons, Jack Teamby, Brendan Santi and Josh Daly. Sam Cook is now the 18th man. With Featherstone, they make 5 changes to the side that lost out to Sheffield last week, with Connor Barley, Wellington Albert, AJ Wallace, Charlie Harris and Leo Tennyson all dropping out of the side. Into the lineup, the James Ford side come Louis Gorman, Brad Day, Harry Bowes, Maurice Camano, and Dec Patton makes his club debut for Featherstone this afternoon. Most recently impressing just a fortnight ago in the 42 points to 40 win at Swinton Lions over Featherstone on this very ground. Makes the switch mid-season to Featherstone. I'll be looking to make an impact first time out. He starts at 7, so the full lineup for Featherstone is as follows. Caleb Akins is the fullback, the three-quarter line of Gareth Gale, Louis Gorman, Greg Minikin and Greg Eden. Paul Turner partners Dec Patton in the halves. Ben Nakabawai, Connor Jones and Gadwin Springer up front, with Brad Day, Lewis Johnson, who makes his home debut this afternoon, and Danny Addy reverts to his usual 13 position. He is the captain this afternoon. On the bench for Rovers, Harry Bowes, Brad England, Zach Fishwick and Maurice Camano. Connor Wynne is the 18th man. So as I mentioned, Featherstone, a much more improved performance last week. Could have argued that the better side didn't win that game. An agonising defeat, a last-minute try to Sheffield converted in front of the post, gave Sheffield an unlikely win. But James Ford, after the game, extremely pleased with large parts of his side performance, a lot more committed, tenacious display, and they'll be looking to replicate that this afternoon. Featherstone currently sitting 6th, just 2 points ahead of 7th place, and with a win today could put daylight between themselves and a chasing pack in 6th place, and looking to put the pressure on those above them in the table, most notably Bradford, of course, who play this afternoon as well. A little bit of history between the two sides. This is the 41st meeting between Featherstone and York in the summer era. Featherstone holding a commanding 30 wins to just York's 7 in that period. Rovers have actually got a very, very good run in recent years over York, winning their last 7 games. They haven't lost to York in a competitive fixture dating back to 2019. They've actually won 22 of their last 24 meetings against York in all competitions. So the omens are there, the history's on Featherstone's side, but that won't make any difference to what they put out on the field this afternoon. A new half-back partnership once again. Dec Patton just getting his first run for the club after signing midweek. And we'll be eager to see how he goes. You're listening live on FRTV as the two sides come out onto the field. It's a scorching hot day in West Yorkshire. We've finally got a bit of consistent warm weather in this so-called summer rugby, and poses a very different challenge to the players this afternoon. Very extremely draining conditions, quite humid, and a decent crowd has turned up here at the Millennium Stadium enjoying the sunshine and perfect conditions for an open game of rugby league as Danny Addy and Liam Harris lead the two sides out onto the field. York, of course, in their predominantly black and yellow strip. Featherstone, of course, in their navy blue and white home jersey. We just take a break for a minute's tribute to Rob Burrow CBE, who of course recently lost his battle with motor neurone disease just 2 weeks ago.
Minute, Scott. Got that's your minute.
A minute's silence impeccably observed for the legend that is Rob Burrow, the former Leeds Rhinos legend, of course, will leave a lasting legacy on this game and, of course, wider society. As the stage is set now, the players are ready. The man in the middle this afternoon is Scott Mikolauskas. Featherstone will be attacking from left to right as we see it in the first half with a downhill advantage. But York will have first use of the ball. It's Betfred Championship round 12 action. Featherstone Rovers versus York City Knights. Can Featherstone get back in the winner's circle here?
And when we're ready, mate.
As Deck Patton has the kicking duties, puts boot to ball. Takes one bounce, eventually into the arms of Liam Harris, who just submits to the tackle of Nakabarwai. Danny Addy, he'll play the ball 15 out from his own line. Come forward now through Gannon, getting his first carry. Just over the 20, Jubb waits at acting half. Ball comes along to Bailey, just up and over the 30-metre line now, putting his back in the tackle of Day and Nakabarwai. Comes centre field, it goes to Akumatai. Got plenty of Super League experience and NRL experience, most recently, of course, with the Huddersfield Giants. We'll play the ball just shy of the 40, middle of the tackle count. Jubb, quick one for Jordan Thompson now, who took the pass from Gannon. And he advances the ball a couple of metres into Featherstone territory on the last tackle, finished off there by Lewis Johnson. This will be the last one. Hingano will have the kicking duties, hoists it high, an early tester into the sun for Caleb Aikins. Greg Eden, in fact, it was the man underneath it. He pouches it safely and is wrapped up. He's lost the ball in the tackle there, though, Greg Eden. And the penalty goes against York for a ball steal. You could see hands in there around the ball. And after an encouraging and energetic opening set for Mark Applegarth's side, they immediately let Featherstone off the hook with a poor and simple penalty, as Deck Patton wasted no time in putting the ball into touch. Finds touch on this near far side, 5 short of halfway. And Featherstone will have the early opportunities. Turner drops off Springer now. Springer nearly leaving Jubb behind, who did just enough on the bootlaces to halt his progress. Finished off by Tai. Nakabarwai comes forward again. Down low was Jubb. Over the top, Gannon. Patton, first touch for him. Out the back to Aikins, a little bit of space. Minican early ball, this is what he likes. Put to ground on that far side by Williams. Featherstone 20 away from the line already on this far touchline side. They come back through the middle, through the hands to Addy. Reverting back to that familiar loose forward position. Bullocking run from Addy, taking defenders with him well inside the 10 now, and eventually goes down a couple of metres short of the try line. 15 to the left of the post. They come back through the middle now. Turner, first receiver, short ball for Springer, who hit the ball. A nice line, but a good tackle equally underneath from Ty. Last tackle for Featherstone. Patton. Double pumps, gives it to Day. Day's going to be hard to stop. They won't stop him, Brad Day. A fantastic start for Featherstone. The perfect start on the board inside the first couple of minutes. It came off the back of a penalty against York for the ball steal. They worked their way patiently downfield. A nice settling run in the middle from Gadwin Springer. And a lovely delayed pass from Deck Patton, having an immediate impact. Hit Brad Day at pace. He took 2 defenders over the line with him. And with just a couple of minutes on the clock, Featherstone have the early lead. It's Featherstone Rovers 4, York City Knights 0. Brad Day getting his 8th try of the season. Missed the fixture over Sheffield last week, but back in the side, playing on that left edge. And Deck Patton already showcasing his attacking prowess. Dug right into the line, delayed the pass extremely well. Day just at full pace against a retreating York line. There was nothing that they could do about it. And Featherstone have the early advantage. Deck Patton has taken over the kicking duties from Danny Addy. He's about 10 metres in from the left touchline, 20 metres out, steps up. Guides the ball between the posts. And Featherstone build on their early lead. They currently lead York City Knights by 6 points to 0. And Deck Patton getting his first points in a Featherstone shirt. James Ford will be extremely happy with the start his team have made. Plenty of energy. A real energetic set, commanding set. They shipped it to the left. They came back through the middle, testing York, before eventually pulling the trigger and coming up with early points as the kickoff is taken by Gale right on that dead ball line. Gives it on to Springer, who bumps away from Thompson. Thompson comes again with help from Field underneath. Springer will play it 15 out from his own line. Jones at acting half, gives it to Gale, play to specialist. Out the back it goes this time to Patton, double pump to Aikens. There's space now. Aikens into the backfield. He had options on the outside. York's defence did well in the end to bring him down, but not before he's advanced the ball up to the 30. Minikin now with a settling run in the middle. He's taken by Gannon, put on his back on the 40-metre line. Still a couple of tackles in the bank for Rovers. They go left. Nakubawai up and over the halfway line. Been extremely effective so far, just his third game for the club after signing from Lee on loan. Springer takes the ball from Patton. Springer through the middle of the field. Nearly left the York defender behind, but managed to pull him to ground. This has been a good set after points. Patton has the kicking duties on the last, puts it high. Tester for Dagger under a little bit of pressure. Did well there, Will Dagger, as he was immediately set upon by the try scorer Day. He'll play it 10 metres out. He's taken a little bit of a knock there, probably a knock to the back. Looks very ginger getting up there, Will Dagger. As Brown it was, plays it on play 2. Ward now coming in for a carry. 3 tackles gone, York still inside their own 20. As they come forward now through Field. Field wrestled to the ground by Gorman. Louis Gorman, that is, and Gale. Morgan Gannon now. Jacob Gannon, I beg your pardon, up to the 40-metre line. This has been a good defensive set from Featherstone on the back of points as well. So if Harris is going to have to kick from long here, it takes one bounce over the head of Eden, who knocks it backwards, gets it on the second attempt, has room to wind up, and good tackle down low by Jubb halts his progress, but Featherstone start their set 30 metres away from their own line. 7 minutes gone here at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone 6, York 0. Gale fighting for every inch there and still standing in the tackle of Field there. Gale eventually plays it on the 40. Turner passing field to Patton, gives it to Minikin. Featherstone moving the ball around early here. Minikin half poked his nose through the line there. He'll play it for Jones. Turner. Johnson now. Just his second game for the club, up and over the halfway line. Featherstone inside the York half once again here, eventually wrapped up by Gannon. Still a couple of tackles left. Addy at first receiver, comes across field, gives it to Patton. Patton out the back now for Aikens. Aikens to Minikin. He's created the space here for Minikin, who gives it to Eden. Eden weaving back in field in traffic. Greg Eden is going to try and cut back against the grain, and Brown does a good job to put him down. 10 metres away from the line now. Featherstone on the last. They're going short side on the left. Patton digs the ball into the goal area. He'll be picked up and scored by Caleb Aikens. And what a start to life as a Featherstone Rovers player for Deck Patton. His second try assist inside the opening 10 minutes. This time from the boot. We knew the attacking prowess he had off the boot from just a few weeks ago when he was playing for Swinton, and he showcased that in Featherstone colours here. Just dug the ball right into the line at the last minute, just dropped it onto the boot, perfectly weighted. It bounced up into the arms of Caleb Aikens, who won't score an easier try. And with just 7 minutes gone here at the Millennium Stadium, Featherstone have a 2-score lead. It's Featherstone Rovers 10, York City Knights 0. And Patton now will have the conversion attempt from right out on that left touchline to make it a 12-point lead. What a start for Featherstone. Come flying out of the blocks in recent weeks, the last 5-6 weeks or so. The main key area for James Ford has been starting fast, and he thought that they were a little bit slow on the jump last week. No such problems this week, as York have had no response to the onslaught so far, as Patton steps up to add the extra 2, and he's pulled it just to the right hand side of the post. The score remains Featherstone 10, York City Knights 0. Been very impressive so far. Still very early in the game, of course, but very impressive start for Patton. York look a little bit shell-shocked here. They've barely had any ball or any territory, and already conceding 2 early tries. You're listening live on FRTV. 9 minutes gone. Featherstone 10, York 0. As Dagger seems to have recovered from that earlier knock, takes the kick off. It's cut off by Louis Gorman, who just takes it himself, runs straight at Jacob Gannon. He's helped out over the top by Jordan Thompson. He'll play it 20 metres from his own line now. Gannon nearly went without it, keeps hold of it. As Jones shaped to go right, feared that Springer had slightly overrun the play, so went left, gave it to Paul Turner. Just losing their way a little bit on that play. Gale now gets them going forward the right way, nearly runs over the top of Field, who stuck to the task well to bring him down. Featherstone 30 from their own line now. Centre field ball comes to Addy. Addy just standing in the tackle. He's dumped on his back there in a 3-man York tackle. Nakabawai comes forward again, route 1 up and over the halfway line, taking defenders with him. That's another strong carry from the big front rower. This will be the last one for Featherstone. Good set after points once again. Patton with the kicking duties, puts it high this time. Another tester for Dagger, who takes it comfortably and has a little bit more time before the Featherstone chasers arrive there, and York will take over possession 20 metres out from their own line. Brown crabs across field, put down one-on-one by Johnson, helped out by Nakabawai. Ball comes out to Hingano, just hands it off to Kinehorst. Kinehorst, of course, with plenty of Super League experience of his own with Leeds Rhinos and most recently Hull Kingston Rovers. Akuma Tai comes forward again now, standing in the tackle of Springer. A couple of the big men coming together again in the middle of the field there as Ty plays it on the 40, York side of halfway. Harris is going to kick early, looking for that 40-20. Hasn't got the angle on that one, but it is a good kick. Will hold up in the in-goal area, will it? In fact, it won't. It'll trickle just over the dead ball line. So those are the fine margins there between a good and a bad kick. That will now be a 20-metre tap and a 7-tackle set for Featherstone. Leading by 10 points to 0. Early tries to Brad Day and Caleb Akins, with 11 and a half minutes gone here at the Millennium Stadium. As Gorman taking on Field once again, who stood his ground. Over the top was Gannon. Short side play now for Johnson. Johnson back into the ruck, standing in the tackle again. There's 3 defenders around him. Eventually finds his front, 5 short of halfway. A really slow play of the ball here, claiming that he's trapped in the tackle field. The referee waves play on. Turner drops off Springer. Springer bumps away from Hingano. Goes again the second time, looking for the offload. Keeps hold of it this time. Springer 5 metres into York territory once again come Featherstone as Addy straightens the line, gives it to Patton. Patton out the back to Akins. There's an overlap on the outside. Akins is into the backfield. Akins has got the ball to Eden. Eden manufactures a kick back in field. It takes 1 bounce and it's eventually cleaned up by the centre on that far side, Nikhil Williams. And I think the knock-on is going to be given against Featherstone here. In fact, has it been given against a York player? No, it'll just be a turnover on the 10 metres. The great invention again. Patton, he looks like he's been playing it for Featherstone for months. The way he's been playing, he's just seamlessly slotted in on that side. Just the delayed pass out the back to Akins gave him the space. The York player managed to get his shirt collar. He had to pass the ball out to Eden. Eden kicked a ball in over the top. And it was eventually knocked on by a Featherstone man, but a real let-off and a warning shot for the Knights there, who have the scrum feed on the 10. Ward takes the first carry. He's put to ground by Johnson and Turner. Plays it 15 out. Thompson. Put on his back there. 25 away from the York line. Second tackle. Job at acting half. Gives it to Williams now, who beat the first man. Just got himself into the backfield there. He'll play it 35 out now. Still a few tackles to come for York as Thompson gives it out to Hingano, out to Dagger. Dagger looking for some space. He's wrapped up by Gorman, a couple of Hull Kingston Rovers men there as Turner forces the error and it's eventually knocked on. I think the first knock-on will be given against Turner, so good pressure from the Featherstone halfback, but will concede another 6 tackles here as York will have their first real attacking opportunity if they can get through this set in the game. Featherstone still leading, of course, by 10 points to 0 if you're just joining us. Scrum feed on halfway. So Hingano will be the man to feed the scrum. Jubb fires the pass out to Harris. Harris, short ball there for Williams. Williams is brought to ground over on that side by Patton. Plays it 40 out. Come forward again, Ty. Met a strong challenge by Springer, but goes again, Akuma Ty, and Springer comes again, making it personal to finish him off. 30 metres out. Bang in front, centre of the field. They come left to Hingano. Shapes gives it to Kinehorse. A little bit of space, but he's knocked off his feet. That door abruptly closed by Gadwin Springer. And that brings a roar from the crowd as York come forward again here through Thompson. Thompson out to Harris. Harris short ball there for Bailey. He'll play it 10 metres out. Still a couple of tackles in the bank for City Knights. Hingano has the ball over the top. Finds Ward. Ward's one-on-one. Passes it back in field for Field. And Field is wrapped up by Gorman. Last one for York. 10 metres out. Untidy pass. Eventually given to Jacob Gannon, who just dinks the ball behind the line here. And Gale's going to watch that trickle over the dead ball line once again. Well weighted and good patience and composure from Gaz Gale there. As it wasn't a bad kick from the loose forward Jacob Gannon, and York just getting everything wrong on that last play. The passing field from Ward was a horrible one over the head of Hingano, and they almost manufactured something from it, but Featherstone coughing up the ball here inside their own half as Minikin shakes his head in disappointment. The first real error that Featherstone have made, really, and York will have the scrum feed 30 metres out. .15 minutes gone here in Featherstone. If you're just joining us on FRTV, it's Featherstone 10, York 0. Tries to Brad Day, Caleb Akins. So far in this one. And York yet to get on the board, but this is their first period of possession, really, inside sustained possession in Featherstone's half as Harris, from the scrum win, plays it 20 metres out. Bailey now comes off his right foot. Nakabawai was alert to the danger, puts him down 5 short. They're just to the right-hand side of the post, York. Still plenty of tackles remaining. Jubb, short ball for Ty now. It's going to be difficult to stop. Springer's got a hold of him, and Aikens in there to lock up the ball to prevent the offload. He'll play it on the try line. Ball out to Hingano. Hingano, flat pass there for Field. Field looking to get his arm free. Can't do so. Smothering Featherstone defence from Gorman. They come back through the middle again. Gannon. Shapes to drop off one man, keeps hold of it himself. Jacob Gannon has been very busy early on and he's trying to get to ground over the try line. Eventually Springer completes the tackle, bang in front of the posts. Jubb tries to pinch one from dummy half and he's got to the line there, Will Jubb, but he's knocked the ball on, has he? What's the ruling there? Is he short? Short of the line. That's a great tackle from Gadwin Springer to bring him down ball and oil. He looked to catch the markers napping there and he dove at the ground, and as he did, Springer just grabbed hold of him, put him to the ground half a metre short. It's actually going to be, it was on the last tackle, so it's a Featherstone turnover. Featherstone will have possession here, so they keep their line intact. They play it now. This will be a tough carry for Gale as Gale goes to ground, picks up about a metre for his side. These are the real tough carries as Eden beats one, but is put to ground by Jubb there, still inside their own 10 as Minikin off a quick play of the ball. That was a good piece of play from Eden, and Minikin advancing the ball just short of the 20 now. As Eden comes in, gets his second carry, going across the field, gives it to Johnson. Johnson straight to Gorman. Gorman out the back to Gale. Gale finds the offload for Gorman. Gorman is into the backfield now. He's got men in support. Gorman, he gives it to Johnson. Johnson's got Turner on the inside. What a sensational try from the Featherstone Rovers as Turner completes the move and scores under the post. They look to be going nowhere. It was started by Greg Eden. He crabbed across field, found the pass to Johnson, who gave it to Gorman, released Gale on the outside. He in turn found the pass back to Gorman. Gorman into the backfield, who found Johnson in support, quickly handed it on to Turner. There were jerseys from Featherstone everywhere, and they score an 80-metre try. And I can't remember seeing one much better than that from Featherstone this year as they go 3 scores clear. 19 minutes gone here at the Millennium Stadium. It's Featherstone Rovers 14, York City Knights 0. Breathtaking stuff from Featherstone, who just defended their line manfully. Springer with the try-saving tackle under the post on Jubb. They were going absolutely nowhere. They'd been kept inside their own 20 for 4 tackles. And then Greg Eden, as we say, enigmatic player that he is, he has that sort of thing in his kit bag. Just came across the field, noticed some space out on York's left edge, and Featherstone were good enough to take advantage of it. Johnson, Gale and Gorman all playing their part in a fantastic play, with Turner finishing it off in support underneath the post. Patton adds the extra 2 from bang in front, and just like that, Featherstone are well in control of this game. After 20 minutes, they lead the York City Knights by 16 points to 0. That really had the majority crowd of the Millennium Stadium on their feet. How can you not cheer something like that? Fantastic play from Featherstone, and well deserving of their 3-score lead. After just 20 minutes, York get the game back underway now. The kickoff is way too long from Will Dagger, way out on the full. Shakes his head, puts his hand up, apologises to his teammates. Things going from bad to worse for York here. Would have been looking to respond defensively after conceding that try, but the penalty on halfway will put Featherstone straight back on the attack. And the way that Featherstone have been attacking in this game, you wouldn't bet against them scoring again here. As Patton finds touch on that far side, 30 metres out, the tap is taken, and Brad Day has the first carry of this set. York making their first change. Connor Fitzsimmons coming onto the field in the middle of the park. I think it's Jacob Gannon, the man he's replaced, as Featherstone through Springer will play it 20 metres out, bang in front of the post. They come right, Patton. Flat pass there for Johnson. Johnson just keeps hold of it. Put to ground by Ty. Underneath was Field. 10 metres out, just to the right-hand side of the post. They come back the open side. Turner. Turner digs into the line and putting Addy under a lot of pressure there. Did very well to keep hold of the ball under pressure, Danny Addy. Jones. Short side play for Patton again. The kick is charged down there, and it's Minican is quickest to react to the ball and bumps away from Williams. Eventually takes the tackle and is given as a charge down, not the set restart. So this will be the last one for Featherstone, 30 metres out. Patton will manufacture a kick. Puts it high in the air here. Hasn't got a great deal of distance on it, but he'll test it for Ward. Ward takes it well, and he's put to ground by Gorman. So not the best end of sets there for Featherstone, but not the worst place to turn the ball over, as Kinehorst comes forward for York. Brown picked up and driven into the ground there by Springer. Come forward, Fitzsimmons. Plays it 3 metres into Featherstone's half. Thompson, first receiver, turns it underneath for Hingano. Hingano and Dagger running into the same space, finds the offload. Surely a hint of obstructions there as Harris just goes to ground. And really strange player there. Harris, given the ball on the offload, and was allowed to go and take almost a voluntary tackle there to avoid giving away a penalty. The last tackle, kick comes from Hingano. Bounces all over the place here. Nobody wanted to claim it. Kinehorst eventually sees it go into touch, tried to get a boot to it, and it trickles over the touchline on this near side. So that will be a turnover for Featherstone, about 20 metres out. And York just looking a little bit stop-start in the halves here. Very, very lucky not to concede a penalty there. York in the possession there. I've never seen that before, where players have been able to offload out of the tackle after taking an advantage, and then the player who receives the ball was allowed to take a voluntary tackle and retain possession as Springer gets a rest. James Ford turning to his bench for the first time this afternoon. Just waiting for play to get back underway. Danny Addy gone to retrieve his boot some 60 metres downfield. And it's Brad England, who played in the middle last week as well. You imagine will have a similar role this afternoon. The first player used from the bench as the game is back underway. Gale pinballs away from the tackle of Hingano, and he's rounded up by Fitzsimmons and Ty. Plays it 20 out. England, first touch for him, shrugs away from Hingano, can't get away from Kinehorst. Picks up about 5 metres or so. Jones to Turner, into the line now. Gorman and a front-on tackle by Hingano's crept up a little bit there. Referee waves play on. Gorman plays it for England. Second carry for him. Goes down 40 metres away from his own line now. May kick early here, Featherstone. They will. Patton puts his plenty on this one, and it's Brown. Does very well at full tilt to go back and collect that on the full, because Patton was looking for the 40-20, and Patton chasing his own kick leads the line, and Brown will be round up 20 metres from his line now. York taking over possession here as Dagger hands it on to Ward. Good strong tackle under the ball there from Johnson. England in there to lend support. As Ty comes from the field in back play. There's a couple of changes made for York here as Teenby, Daly into the action for the visitors. Ward coming forward now. Turner sticks to the task well. York 40 metres out. Daly straight into the action, gives it to Hingano, just cuts back in field looking for some support, gives it to Teenby, his first touch. Gets those legs pumping into the Featherstone half. That'll be the last one. Score remains Featherstone 16, York 0. 15 minutes to the break. Hingano digs it to the line, gives it to Ward, released them on the outside, gives it back in field to Field, who gives it to Hingano. Hingano wrapped up in a great tackle there by Connor Jones, who forces the error from the halfback, and that'll really please James Ford. The desperation that the Featherstone players are showing from the inside. Connor Jones not giving up on the play. Hingano looked for all money like he was going to score, and then all of a sudden Jones came in underneath and forced the ball loose. And that will be a turnover 10 metres out. The score remaining, Featherstone Rovers 16, York 0. As James Ford makes another substitution, Maurice Kamano comes on to replace Nakabawai. Sensible to rotate forwards in this kind of weather as Eden beats the first man off the scrum, eventually put to ground by Brown on that far touchline side. 25 metres away from the Featherstone line. Minican, early carry puts Fitzsimmons on his back with the Fend, who comes again to finish off the tackle. Good powerful run from the Featherstone centre. Patton just drops off Kamano. Kamano holds onto the ball and just backing his way up to just shy of the 40. Middle of the tackle count for Rovers. They come right. Turner beats one man, finds the offload there for Jones, who went without it. And it's picked up by Teenby, who gives it to Hingano. Hingano inside for Dagger. Dagger beats one, but can't get away from Gale, who gets hold of him and wrestles him to ground by his shirt. Hingano swings the ball right to Harris. Harris cuts off his right foot, stumbles, submits in the tackle of Day. Featherstone have regrouped well off the back of the error. Fitzsimmons now. Put to ground by Jones, 20 metres out, York, bang in front. They've got options left and right. They go left. Daly onto Thompson. Thompson flat pass for Teenby. Teenby's into space here. He's going to fend away and score in front of the travelling York fans. And York, against the run of play really, get their first score of the game, and it came on the back of a Featherstone mistake. It was great play from Turner upfield, who found the pass in field to Jones, who couldn't take the ball. Teenby was actually the man who picked it up, fed it back to Hingano, and they raced away upfield. A great tackle from Gale to snuff out the danger, but just a couple of tackles later, the short pass there from Hingano onto Jack Teenby, who's just come on the field, split the Featherstone line, and there was nothing that Cale Wilkins could do to stop the big front rower from scoring to the left-hand side of the post. And with just 14 minutes to go to the break here, it's now Featherstone Rovers 16, York City Knights 4. It'll be Will Dagger, the man with the kicking duties. It's about 8 metres to the left-hand side of the post. He's not taking it very far back here, only about 15 metres. Decent kicking record, Will Dagger. He'll be looking to cut the deficit to the 10-point margin. Left-footed kicker, Will Dagger. Steps up and guides the ball between the posts. Bring the scoreline now here at the Millennium Stadium to Featherstone Rovers 16, York City Knights 6. And the mistake that resulted in York getting possession there, you couldn't really even say it was overplaying. It was just the execution. Turner had slipped the net, got a half break there. The pass was certainly on, but just the support play there. Jones couldn't quite take the pass. And York seized on the possession and ultimately made Featherstone pay as Patton puts boot to ball on the restart, taken by Harris, who feeds the ball on to the try scorer Team B. And Team B's in a strong challenge there from Kamano with England in to help out. He'll play it 10 metres out from his line. Come forward again now through Thompson, who tried to stand up Gorman. Help from Turner down below. Takes the ball up to the 20. Daly, short side play. The penalty comes against Featherstone here for offside. And an easy relieving penalty for York to get upfield here. It's Harris. Finds touch on this near side. And York will start their set on the restart 5 metres Featherstone side of halfway. Kainos fires the pass to Hingano. Nearly wasn't ready for that, who handed it on to Teenby. Teenby harassed to the ground by Jones on the 40-metre line. So what have Featherstone got defensively here? As Fitzsimmons dummies and tucks it under his wing instead and keeps hold. Put to ground, 25 away from the line. They go right this time for Bailey. Bailey put to ground 12 metres out, 10 metres in from that far right touchline. Back through the middle of the field come York. Harris digs in, gives it to Hingano. Out the back to Dagger. Shift plays on here. Short ball for Kinehorst. And Turner did very well to close the door on him with help from Gale. And he's lost the ball there, Kinehorst. Too eager to try and get up and play it. And there's high fives all around there for the Featherstone defence on that right edge. Gaz Gale coming in, affecting the tackle there with Turner, closing the door on Kinehorst. As York were looking good there on the right to left shift, looking for their second successive try. But it will be the turnover 10 metres out for Featherstone. Half an hour gone here at the Millennium Stadium if you're listening live on FRTV. Featherstone Rovers 16, York City Knights 6. There's going to be more substitutions made here for coach James Ford. Zach Fishwick prowling the touchline with an interchange card. He'll be in the action very shortly. It's Danny Addy who's going to come from the field, who's been one of only 2 ever-present players alongside Connor Jones this year and very often plays the full 80. Danny Addy getting a well-deserved break this afternoon as Day comes forward now. Strong shot underneath the ball from Teamby, but Day went again to bring the ball up to the 30 as Gale. Low tackle underneath from Teamby, who's made a real difference for York since coming off the bench. Fishwick now straight into the action. Field in there to halt his progress. Featherstone will play the ball on the last tackle just short of halfway. Patton on the right this time, puts it high again. Tester for Dagger, but not under any real pressure, just floats the ball out to Brown. Brown tries to go around Miniken and he's put down by Day there. Harris, dummies. Tries to get away from Miniken, who comes again, but not before he's made 10 metres upfield. York up to their 40, second tackle. A few words exchanged there between Patton and Harris. Play's allowed to resume. The 2 halfbacks just exchanging pleasantries. Ward plays it on halfway for Daly. Daly scampers out of dummy half. Johnson holds on to him, puts him to ground. 40 metres away from the Featherstone line now, York. Teenby. Short ball there for Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons under the ball. That's a great tackle, but he's found the offload back to Teenby. Harassing, smothering defence from England. And that's a real win for Featherstone defensively on that play. Last tackle. Hingano dinks the ball. It ricochets off a Featherstone man into the hands of Kinehorst. And that pass ricochets into Ward's hands, and that will be a turnover. The knock-on from Kinehorst. It's an argument for an accidental offside there. But I think the fact that it hit the Featherstone man first negated that. And Featherstone will have to play the ball on their 30. 7 minutes to go to the break. No change to the score. Featherstone 16, York 6. A lot to like about what we've seen from Featherstone in this first half so far. As the Liam Harris deck pattern just been called out by the referee, Scott Mikolauskas. A few words exchanged between the two of them just a few plays ago. The referee just nipping that in the bud, calming things down. No further action for either of them, but just go back to their respective positions as Gorman off the restart. He's met in a strong three-man York tackle there, plays it 30 out. Gale, put to ground by Kinehorst. Ngannou came shooting up out of the line. No real metres forward so far for Featherstone in this set, but England weaving his way through traffic, gives it to Jones. Jones skips over a man, finds space. Teamby puts him to ground on halfway. Quick play of the ball though. Aikens, this is what he likes. Out of dummy half, picks up 10 metres before the York defence even comes to meet him. Jones, flat pass for Patton. Patton into the line, gives it to Day, who Day goes without it. And the pass finds its way to Dagger, and Dagger trying to counter-attack there, and he's put to ground by Fishwick. So Featherstone just pulling the wrong rein there on that side. The pass, Day took it initially, but then just losing it in the contact. And York just starting to get the even fare of possession here after being starved of the ball in the opening 20. But only one try to their name so far, as Featherstone still lead by 16 points to 6. 5 minutes to go to the break. Brendan Santee is on for the visitors. Daly gives it on to Santee now, straight into the action. Carries it straight at Day. He'll play it 40 metres away from the Featherstone try line now. Daly out of acting half, gives it to Fitzsimmons. He'll play it 30 out. Last tackle for York. They hoist the ball to the right. Harris puts it high there, looking to put Eden under pressure. Eden gets off the ground well and takes it. Immediately put to ground by Williams, 10 metres away from his own line. York haven't done a lot of that, kicking into the sun, really. The sun very much in the face of Featherstone's back three. As Minican plays it for Gale now. Gale with that familiar play 2 or 3 carry straight through the middle of the ruck. Invaluable for the home side. Eden keeps hold this time. Put to ground. 30 out. England bumped away from Ngannou, going backwards. This has probably been York's best defensive set of the game here. Featherstone have only made about 10 metres. Patton's going to have to kick from deep. It's a low trajectory kick. Cut off by Dagger. Picks it up cleanly. He's got about 20 metres of real estate to chew up before he meets the first Featherstone chaser. But he's going backwards, and that's a great tackle from Kamano and Jones. The York have possession 40 metres away from their own line as Ward, trying to get the ball up to halfway, will play it just short. Harris gives it to Williams. Williams through the middle of the ruck. Few too many spaces opening up around Featherstone's defence around the ruck there as he plays it quickly for Daly. Daly bumps away from Jones. And he's put to ground by England. 25 metres out now, York. Spin the ball left. Ngannou has options inside, goes outside eventually to Dagger. Dagger tried to get the ball free. He kept hold of it in the end. Great tackling off his wing from Gale. Last tackle, 10 metres out. Centre field the ball comes. Daly, Harris. Harris fires the ball out to Williams. Williams tries to go around Minican. Finds the ball out to Brown, who put a foot on the touchline. And a cheap turnover, and the attacking set for York comes to nothing there. Featherstone doing enough to regroup on their own try line. Featherstone's scramble defence largely in this half been very good. And the one-on-one battle developing on that far side between Williams and Minican. Minican getting the better of him this time, just forced him towards the touchline. Offloaded to Brown, who had a foot on the touchline. The turnover ensues, and with 3 minutes to go to the break, Featherstone remain in front here by 16 points to 6. All of those tries coming in the opening 20 minutes. So Eden plays it, or will play it eventually. 15 out from his line, slow play of the ball. Gale. But over that 20, York have done a good job at restricting Featherstone's yardage in the last 5 or 6 minutes as Aikens goes forward, creeping up high there from Santee, and the penalty is given. And there's still time here before half-time for Featherstone to put on an attacking raid here. They'd love a try just to re-establish control 2 minutes before the break. The penalty, Patton will find touch on that far right touchline. And Featherstone will start their set 45 metres away from the line. Patton just hands it off to Fishwick, who didn't have a lot of room to build up ahead of steam, but still makes 3 or 4 metres after contact. Plays it 40 out. Jones, first receiver is Patton again. Patton keeps hold of it, the right decision there. The York defence had come up on the edges to close down the shift. And he just submits to the tackle, 30 out. He's hurt himself there, Dec Patton. It's not what they were wanting to see there. It's Patton struggling to get... There was a York man came in around the legs, but Patton seems to have sustained an injury. We hope it's nothing serious here. He's been having a very, very good start to his career in Featherstone. Obviously joined midweek from Swinton Lions. And there's going to be a word here to Brendan Santee, I think the man is. It must have been some form of dangerous or illegal action there attacking the legs from Brendan Santee, who's not been on the field long, really. The referee having a word with him. It's on report, but no further action will be taken here. He will remain on the field, Brendan Santee. But you'd imagine this is going to be a penalty to Featherstone. In fact, it's not. It's just going to be a play of the ball. It's a strange decision. He's put the incident on report, but there hasn't been a penalty from it. But thankfully, Patton seems okay to carry on. It's Turner. Turns Johnson underneath. Johnson standing in the tackle, thrown to the ground there by Field. 25 metres away from the line, Featherstone. Ball comes back centre field. Turner drops off Kamano. Kamano's got a little bit of room, but the door closed on him. And York deemed offside on that play. And the call has to be to go for the 2 here and just creep up that lead to a 12-point lead with a little under about a minute to go to the break here. And Patton, thankfully for Featherstone fans, looks okay to take this conversion attempt. So York just showing a little bit of ill discipline in the last few minutes here. Strange decision. If Santee was deemed to have an illegal challenge on Dec Patton's legs, I'm not sure entirely why he wasn't penalised in that instance. But this will be, you'd imagine, probably the last action of the first half. Dec Patton from penalty from bang in front of the post, about 12 metres out, bang in front. 2 from 3 so far from the Featherstone halfback. Steadies himself and slots the ball between the posts, taking the scoreline now to Featherstone Rovers 18, York City Knights 6. We may get a couple of plays here before the half-time siren sounds. Dagger has the ball on halfway as the siren does sound, and that will bring an end to the first half action here at the Millennium Stadium. And it's been largely a half of really promising signs and excellent attacking rugby from Featherstone, who shot into a 16 points to 0 lead thanks to tries from Brad Day, Caleb Aikins, and a real special long-range effort from Paul Turner involving a few different players. Had Featherstone in real command. Jack Teenby hit back with a crucial try for York, and then just in the last play of the half, Dec Patton adding the extra 2 from the penalty just in front of the post leaves Featherstone with a 12-point advantage. It's half-time here at the Millennium Stadium. They lead Featherstone lead York City Knights by 18 points to 6. We'll be taking a real quick break here on FRTV for half-time. We'll be back for all the uninterrupted second half commentary in just a few minutes' time. Hello and welcome back to the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone, where we're here for this Betfred Championship Round 12 clash between Featherstone Rovers and the York City Knights. Featherstone with a commanding 18 points to 6 half-time lead, courtesy of tries in the first half to Brad Day, Caleb Aikins, and a memorable one to Paul Turner. Scores elsewhere in the Betfred Championship at half-time: Bradford 26, Doncaster 0, Sheffield 6, Widnes 15, Swinton 0, Barrow 20, Wakefield 28, Halifax 6, Whitehaven 8, Dewsbury 12. Half-time score in the Super League: Salford leading St Helens by 10 points to 6. And in League 1, Hunslet 12, Rochdale 24, Workington 0, Oldham 8 at half-time. As the game gets back underway here at the Millennium Stadium, Featherstone have first use of the ball, and they're attacking from right to left as we see it, coming uphill in the second half. And Maurice Kamano, the man with the first carry of the second half. In fact, he's going to be bundled back over his try line, and that will be a goal line dropout forced by the York City Knights. It was an untidy kick that took a bounce. Featherstone needed to show probably a little bit more urgency to get to that ball, and Kamano did his best, but York getting no less than 5 or 6 players into that tackle to bundle the big back rower back behind his try line, and York come immediately on the attack. As Patton drops it out, goes halfway on the full, taken by Dagger, who gives it on to Teenby, sole try scorer for York in that first half. Featherstone looking to snap a 3-game losing streak here and keep hold of their grip on 6th place at the moment in the table. York down in 9th, looking to get back-to-back wins as they come forward through Fitzsimmons now. Fitzsimmons held there in a good tackle from England, who's really put himself about defensively since coming off the bench for James Ford's side. 10 metres away from the line. Harris, dummies, goes through himself. He's going to go close to scoring. Great tackle over the top from Caleb Aikens. Fishwick doing just enough to halt his progress. Daly at acting half. Hingano steps away from one. Keeping the arm free, Hingano keeps hold of it in the end. Great desperate defence from Featherstone. That's the last one. They're 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post. 5 metres out. Ball spun back in field. Harris hoists the kick high. Brown loses his footing. The ball takes one bounce and over the touchline, and that will just be a turnover for Featherstone. And if that ball had bounced up nicely for Eden, there was nobody in front of him, but the ball just took one bounce and beat everybody into touch. So the first attacking raid of York proves fruitless. Good defence on show again from Featherstone on their try line. It's Gale. Almost starting the half again here, Featherstone. Couple of minutes gone here in the second half. Score remains Featherstone 18, York 6. As Jones plays it 20 out. Still no action for Harry Bowes yet off the bench. You'd imagine at some point he will be utilised and Connor Jones will get a breather or move positions. As Aikens plays it 30 metres away from the line. England keeps hold of it, just rides the tackle somewhat and goes down on the 30. Jones at acting half again. Patton going to kick early here. Over the top of Brown there, and Brown has to dash back to collect that. In fact, he's had one go at it and picks it up eventually on the try line. Good kick from Deck Patton in the end. The chase is a good one from Featherstone, who come to meet him at 15 metres out. Great clearing kick from Deck Patton. One of the reasons that Featherstone were eager to bring him to the club from Swinton. As Ward comes forward, and he gets a penalty for his troubles. A high shot there, the referee, Scott Miklauskas, ruling. I don't think there was a great deal in that one, but penalty goes against Featherstone. Able to clear their lines here now, York. As Harris finds touch on that far side. On halfway now then, York will start their set. Kinehorst just takes on Gorman. Puts him to ground 40 out. Daly hands it on to Hingano, who gives it to Santi. Santi put on report in the first half for a tackle on Deck Patton. Plays it 30 out. Daly gives it to Hingano into the line to Dagger. Just getting their wires crossed a little bit there, York, which takes the sting out of the attack. Turner closes things down. Daly short side play for Field. Give it to Kainos. Kainos riding the challenge there. Eventually put to the ground there by Gorman. 10 metres out. Tight to that far touchline. Ball comes back in field. 2 passes to Hingano. Hingano out the back to Harris. Harris loops it over the top for Brown. Brown's going to be hard to stop. Brown scores in the right touchline corner here. And it was Greg Eden who'd come up looking for the intercept there, but came up with nothing in the end. The ball hit Joe Brown on the chest, and the big winger just dived beyond Greg Minican. Scored in this right touchline corner. And York City Knights have the first points of the second half after just 5 minutes of second half action. It's Featherstone Rovers 18, York City Knights 10. And York, who for much of the first half had no field position or ball down Featherstone's half, have had most of the territory so far in this second 40. It's been a slow start for Featherstone in this since half-time, and it was a good ball from Harris over the top, about 20-metre cut-out pass to Joe Brown, but Eden just getting caught ball-watching slightly on that edge, came in and left the space out wide. And there was very little that Greg Miniken could do as Will Dagger, just tight to this right touch line, 20 metres out, has the opportunity to cut the gap to just 6 points. Big kick in the context of this game, really. As he floats the ball between the posts, and we do have a 6-point game here at the Millennium Stadium. It's Featherstone Rovers 18, York City Knights 12. As Featherstone, James Ford looked to the bench to make a couple of changes early in this second half. Gadwin Springer and Ben Nakabawai both onto the field for Louis Johnson and Maurice Kamano. As Patton puts boot to ball again on the restart. Pass beats Harris, beats Santi, and it's going to go over the dead ball line there, and a real mix-up over the dead ball line there for York. That was terrible play in all seriousness, because Patton, it was a weird wobbly kick, but it didn't have a lot of power on it, and it managed to evade both players, and Santi eventually just putting a foot on the dead ball line. And I mean, you talk about coach killers for Mark Applegarth, that will be, unforgivable after points. And immediately surrender the advantage back to Featherstone as the dropout is taken by Gale, who just hands it on to Springer now. Springer runs it in with some venom into a 3-man York tackle. What do Featherstone have here? Their first attacking raid of this second half. Nakabawai just keeps those legs pumping, taking Fitzsimmons with him. 25 away from the line. Which way will they come? They come left. Patton into the line. Looping ball over the top is knocked down by Joe Brown and eventually picked up by Miniken. His waves play on there, the referee. And that will be a set restart. Joe Brown, big tall winger, got his hand to the ball, couldn't quite reel it in. The intercept is Fishwick. Spins away from a couple of defenders, goes down 30 out. Plenty of tackles still in the bag for Featherstone. Springer now, just route one. The best way he knows, just takes them forward another 10 metres. He'll play it just shy of the 10-metre mark. Turner, and he's lost the ball at the play the ball, Gadwin Springer. And frustration building there for Featherstone. Their first real attacking opportunity. Springer just losing the ball, getting up to play it. And a real let-off for York there. The score remains Featherstone 18, York City Knights 12. Still early, of course, in this second half. It's Ward looking to make metres forward. Daly hands it on to Field now. Field plays the ball 30 out. Daly scampers out of dummy half, picks up 10, 15 metres, still going Daly, who's added some real punch around the ruck since coming off the bench for the visitors. Plays it short of halfway. Harris, first receiver, hands it on to Teenby. Teenby wrapped up in a combination tackle of Fishwick and Springer. Daly onto Hingano. Hingano stands in the tackle. Hingano put to ground, 30 out. This will be the last one, and he's lost the ball at the play the ball now. So both sides trading unforced errors at the play of the ball there, and York were building something in that set, and Featherstone will now have the play of the ball 30 metres away from their own line. So both sides not quite as crisp as they'd have liked to have been, but York getting the only score of the second half so far, that converted Joe Brown try. The 6-point deficit between the two sides. Featherstone lead by 18 points to 12. You're listening live on FRTV as Miniken comes forward off the scrum win. An uncompromising tackle there from his opposite man, Nikhil Williams, and a little bit too uncompromising as he concedes the penalty there for a second effort on Miniken. York's ill discipline towards the end of the first half let them down, and it's let them down again there. Featherstone won't mind at all. It's another chance to get themselves upfield as Patton finds touch on this near side. Featherstone will start their set 35 metres away from the York line. Next try in this game crucial. Featherstone are desperate to make sure it's them as Springer takes the pass from Patton into the teeth of the York defence. Goes down under the tackle of Santi and Daly. And he's lost the ball again, Gadwin Springer. This is unforgivable from the big front rower. He pleads his innocence. The referee ruling that he hasn't got up to play the ball properly again here, and just two real poor errors since coming off the bench from Gadwin Springer, who has so much impact positively most of the time, but his last two carries, certainly ones he'd like to forget. And a simple turnover again for York as Hingano gives it onto field now. Featherstone need to be careful with their discipline and execution here. York have proven if they get sustained ball at the other end of the field that they do have the attacking weapons to unlock them as Thompson comes forward. Up to halfway now. Tackle coming in from Patton and Day. Daly gives it on to Harris. Harris just takes them on. Brought to ground there by Patton. 40 metres out. Fitzsimmons to Hingano. Hingano out to Dagger. Dagger, great tackle, ball and all from Gorman. Coming in off the edge there to close that down. York are approaching the 20 as Hingano gives it to Field. Field spinning in the tackle, put to ground there by England. That'll be the last one. Good defensive set so far from Featherstone. Last play coming up for York. Hingano digs the ball into the back against the grain. And that's well picked up by Fishwick. And it's a penalty given against Featherstone for running a York man off the ball. Didn't see a great deal wrong with that, must be said. But the referee ruling that a Featherstone man had changed his line. Daly, the man, ruled to have been impeded. And York, just 6 points behind now, have a full set of tackles 20 metres away from the Featherstone line here to try and get the equaling score. Huge defensive set for Featherstone as Teamby comes forward. He's bent backwards in the tackle of Fishwick. Nakabawai, fantastic defence from the Rovers forwards. Daly hasn't got any options. Skips away from two, gives the ball onto Field, who hit the ball at pace. Turner did enough to knock him off his stride. He'll play the ball 5 short of the line, just to the left of the post. Thompson keeps hold of it himself. Jordan Thompson is still going to the line here. Thompson is going to go close to scoring. He's put the ball down. Half a blade of grass short there. Couldn't have got much closer. Daly, flat pass for Fitzsimmons. Great defensive play on show again from Day and Springer. He plays it for Daly. Daly, Harris digs the ball into the in-goal area and it's punched dead. In fact, kicked dead by Brad Day. And that will be a goal line dropout. Nakabawai. And in fact, it's not Nakabawai, it's Zach Fishwick who's going to be taken from the field here. Danny Addy brought into play. In fact, Fishwick's not allowed to go off yet until the dropout is taken. More pressure building on the Featherstone line. A real examination of the try-line defence of James Ford's men as the dropout is taken on the 40 by Hingano, who gives it on to Teamby now. Teamby winds it up and takes it forward. Good tackle there by Springer. Hingano at pace, cuts through the line, finds the offload for Daly. Daly trying to slip the net here. He's going to score, Daly. And he scores to the left-hand side of the posts. And it was great play by Hingano, who just took the line on himself, found the offload for Josh Daly, who took defenders over the line with him. The Featherstone defence never really regrouped. And York have scored just to the left-hand side of the post. So you'd imagine with this kick to come, we will have the scoreline all tied up with just 15 minutes gone in the second half. It's Featherstone Rovers 18, York City Knights 16. Featherstone really only have themselves to blame here so far in the second half. Poor errors upfield, putting them under pressure, and York keep getting invited down the other end of the field, have grown in confidence as this game has gone on. And Hingano has been very happy just to sort of catch and pass so far in this game, this time coming off his left foot, cutting back against the grain of the Featherstone defence, opened up the half gap. Josh Daly was in support, and he scores to the left of the post as Dagger adds the extra two. And the game is all locked up here at 18 points apiece. 25 minutes to go. Still in this game, plenty of time, but Featherstone need to stem the tide here of York territory. It's been very much a reversal of the opening 20 minutes of this game. Featherstone have had very, very little ball and have spent the majority of the game defending their line so far here. How will Featherstone respond? Kick-off comes, taken by Harris. Harris onto Teenby. Teenby winds it up and he's taken low there by Jones. Nakabawa in there to help. Thompson. Thompson coming forward. York full of running coming down the slope here at the Millennium Stadium. Already 12 points as Daly, the try scorer, coming forward. Featherstone struggling to stop York's go forward here as they're already inside the Featherstone half. Hingano gives it on to Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons holds on. 40 metres out now. Thompson. Thompson still rumbling forward here, Jordan Thompson. All of the Super League experience in the world. Spells with Castleford and Hull. Plays it 20 out. Ball comes to Harris. Harris puts it high, looking to put Eden under pressure. Eden, the ball is knocked backwards there by Eden. It's knocked on. It's given us a knock on apparently. There's a contest between Brown and Eden and forcing the mistake, and another goal line dropout coming against Featherstone here. Featherstone quite simply can't get the ball at the moment. York are doing everything right in terms of applying pressure. It's real slow. Featherstone just soaking up every second on this dropout as Patton puts boot to ball again. Takes one bounce over the head of Dagger, who's got to go back and retreat. The Featherstone line advancing and Dagger eventually picks it up. Gives it to Ty now, so that's probably the best result that Featherstone could have hoped for as Ty takes the tackle inside York's half of all places off that dropout. He'll play it just short of halfway. It's just come on back onto the field of Kumatai. Daly gives it to Ngannou, out to Dagger. It's knocked down there by Gale. And Gale just kills the ball. That will be a scrum to York, 40 metres out. 22 minutes remaining still here at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone 18, York 18. York in the second half eroding that 12-point half-time advantage. Scrum feed. Ball eventually comes out to Daly, on to Hingano. Hingano steps away from a couple and Day puts him to ground. Dagger to Bailey. Bailey runs at Patton. Patton puts him on the ground with help from Miniken. 15 metres away from the line now, York. Ball spun back to the centre. Harris across field. At the back to Hingano. Hingano finds it to Dagger. Dagger closed down. In off the edge again there from Gorman. Did a good defensive job there. 10 metres out now. Daly onto Hingano. Hingano to Ty. Ty coming across field, trying to bully his way to the line. Akuma Ty, and he's reached the line there. And that defence from Featherstone simply not good enough as Featherstone fall behind for the first time in this game. Akuma Ty just took a simple pass there across the field, crabbed across the field, shrugged off a couple of would-be defenders and fell on the try line. And York have their third try in quick succession in this second half as they take the lead for the first time. Got 20 minutes to go to full time here at the Millennium Stadium. It's Featherstone Rovers 18, York City Knights 22. There's by no means panic stations for Featherstone here, but they've barely fired a shot so far in this second half. It's been all York City Knights. And York have been good enough to take advantage of the field position. 3 tries so far in this second half for York. So Connor Jones is going to be replaced by Harry Bowes. Will Dagger with the conversion attempt from just to the right-hand side of the post to open up a 6-point lead for the visitors. And he makes no mistake in converting it. Scoreline now, Featherstone Rovers 18, York City Knights 24. As I said, still plenty of time left in this contest. We can see how momentum can change in games. York have shown what they can do with a bit of possession. Featherstone will have their say in this game. As the kickoff is taken by Harris. Harris hands it on to the most recent try scorer, Ty. And he's wrapped up. Great tackle from Danny Addy there. Harris hands it on to Thompson. Thompson nearly cut through the line, grounded by Bowes. And over the top was Nakabawai. As they come forward again through Fitzsimmons. Gorman grounds him. Daly gives it short side. Hingano's grown in stature as this game's gone on. Nato Hingano, he goes down 5 metres into Featherstone's half. A couple of tackles still to come for York. It's Field. Skips across field, eventually put down by Nakabawai. That'll be the last one. Dagger does the kicking this time. Puts it high again. A real testing one. In fact, it's just going to beat everybody into touch. It's a poor end of set from York. And Featherstone finally gets some form of reprieve here. Because in the last 10 minutes or so, it's been pretty relentless from York. Featherstone have possession on their own 40. Feels like an eternity since Featherstone touched the ball here as Gale comes forward. Thompson eventually lets go of the ball. Gale plays it on halfway. Bowes, out of acting half, picks up 10, 12 valuable metres there. Nakabawai, route 1. Bowes to Turner. Turner gives it to England. England operating on the edge now. Plays it, or will play it, 20 metres out. Still a couple of tackles remaining. Featherstone looking for that game-levelling score as Addy finds Patton. Patton out to Aikins. Aikins into space. Caleb Aikins. Can he get his arm free? Caleb Aikins. He's eventually wrestled to the ground. Williams did just enough. Day, Patton into the line. Finds Minikin. Minikin swarmed by 4 York jerseys and put to ground. Not a bad place to turn the ball over though. Featherstone just need to be patient. 17 minutes of the game still remaining. Featherstone 18, York 24. As Williams, swarmed by Minikin and company there, plays it 5 out. Featherstone need to be clean and disciplined defensively here as Nakabawai puts his man to ground. That was Ward. An untidy pass. The Kine horse eventually dragged backwards. Great defence on show from Featherstone there, buying a bit of territory back. York still inside their own 10. Hingano, that's the pass out to Ward, and Ward's away down that touchline. The pass inside to Field. Field up and to the halfway line, eventually put down by Aikins. He's going to be going very close to the touchline there. They did very well there, Gorman and Aikins, to halt his progress, as that was a great ball from Hingano. Just getting York out of trouble somewhat. As Ty comes forward, holds the ball in one hand, getting his arms through the line there. But he stands in the tackle. That will be the last one for York. Harris. The chasers on the right-hand side are all offside as Eden takes that really well above his head. The pass for Aikins. Aikins is net by Fitzsimmons and put to ground 25 away from his own line. End-to-end stuff here in the last few minutes as Gale comes forward again. Standing in the tackle. Very difficult to put on the ground here, Gaz Gale. And eventually plays the ball 40 out. Springer. Springer comes forward up to the halfway line. Plays it for Bowes. Bowes sets off from dummy half. Patton just drops off Nakabawai. Nakabawai into the line. 4th tackle gone here for Featherstone. 15 minutes to go. Scoreline 18 points to 24 in York's favour as Addy just takes a settler there on the last tackle. Patton on the last. Puts it high, looking to put Brown under pressure here. Brown takes it well, and he's immediately set upon there by Day, and he'll play it 5 metres out. This is better from Featherstone in the last few sets of 6. As they lose the ball there, York. Just a real simple error there from Nicar Williams. Just went without the ball, and this is the opportunity for Featherstone. As Springer secures possession for his side. They come right. Turner off his right foot. Turner splits them and scores underneath the post. Paul Turner, as simple as you like. He scores underneath the post, and we will have a locked-up scoreline in just a few moments here. Paul Turner getting his second try of the game. Just came off his right foot, accelerated into the York line, took the odds to it himself, split the line, went through some flimsy York defence, and scores underneath the post. It's now Featherstone Rovers 22, York City Knights 24 with a kick to come. And how often do we see it? Errors against the run of play, errors with no real pressure can change momentum of games as Deck Patton adds the extra 2 from bang in front. Scoreline now level once again. Featherstone Rovers 24, York City Knights 24. And that error from Nicar Williams just got the ball one off. Just knocked it on. Ball was picked up by Gadwin Springer. Featherstone didn't panic, and then the ball came wide. First receiver to Turner, who's been again happy to just turn the ball underneath at times, distributing when he needs to. This time just straightened up, accelerated into the line, went straight through 2 defenders and scored his second try of the game and the most important try of the game so far for Featherstone, as he's brought the game back level. Who's going to win this one? 13 minutes to go to full time here at the Millennium Stadium. It's 24 apiece as Ben Nakabawai takes the first carry off the restart. He will play it 15 out from his own line. Gale beats one tackle there, leaves Jordan Thompson on the ground, and Thompson getting his head in the wrong place there. He looks a little bit dazed, Jordan Thompson. He's been left on the deck. He's getting up to carry on. You'd imagine he'll need some treatment here. I'd imagine he's probably going to have to come from the field for a head assessment. Just getting his head in the wrong place there, trying to tackle Gale, which is no easy feat. That try from Paul Turner, his 7th in just 10 games for Featherstone so far this season after joining the club early in the year. As Jordan Thompson is going to have to come from the field. Thought that would be the case. Just got his head in the wrong place there. He was left on the ground in that tackle with Gale, and no foul play whatsoever, but that will be the end of Jordan Thompson, you'd imagine, with about 13 minutes of the game gone. Teamby comes back into the game after a short break. As Gale plays it 30 out. Springer coming forward. Put to ground by Ty. Williams plays it for Addy. Addy standing in the middle of the field there. Bowes to Nakabawai, to England to Gorman. Gorman's got some pace. Gorman almost into the backfield there. Kainos did just enough to pull him down. 10 metres York side of halfway. The kick coming from Turner. Turner just puts it end over end. Comes off the boot of Dagger, who has to play at it and comes forward. Weaves through the line, cut to ground there by Nakabawai. Crucial tackle there as Brown comes forward. Brown bumps away from 1-2 defenders, eventually smothered in the tackle of Bowes. 30 metres away from his line. 12 minutes to go here. Still 24 all if you're just joining us live on FRTV. Have Featherstone got the game-winning moment in them as Hingano looking for the 40-20. It's a hell of a kick there from the halfback, and he's found touch on that far side, and that's a fantastic kick from Ate Ngannou, who was fairly quiet in the first half, but has been one of York's best in the second. And again, could that turn the tide of this game back in York's favour? As they come forward, Field just taking the odds to it, almost got to the line there, Field. Featherstone defence did not move up on him at all. He plays the ball a metre short. Ball comes out to Ngannou. Ngannou steps in traffic, weaving through. Ate Ngannou's going to score as he scores to the right-hand side of the post, and it's been a real masterclass from Ate Ngannou, the former NRL star. Just weaved his way through the line there. Again, not where Featherstone's defence needed to be. Players shooting up out of the line, some of them hanging back. And he just cut straight through the line there and scored the try that puts York back in front with 10 minutes to go here, still in this contest. York edge ahead once again. It's Featherstone Rovers 24, York City Knights 28. And Will Dagger, from about similar position to where he converted the last York try, 10 metres out, 5 metres to the right-hand side of the post. Shouldn't have too many troubles converting this one. And Featherstone will be staring down the barrel of a 6-point deficit late in the game here. Come from behind earlier in this season. Came from behind late to beat Widnes. They need a similar type of finish to this game once again after surrendering control at half-time as Dagger adds the extra 2 once again. It's Featherstone Rovers 24, York City Knights 30. Still plenty of time remaining in this one. Featherstone simply have to be the next to score in the context of this game. There's a short kick-off coming in here. Battered back there by Minikin into the arms of Nakabawai. A great play, Featherstone get possession back. Pendulum swinging again, perhaps. As Eden plays it, 30 out. Addy to Springer. Springer just taking defenders with him. Bose gives it to Addy. Addy flat pass there for Nakabawai, who stands in the tackle of Jubb. Jubb finds his feet and halts his progress. 20 out. Addy. Addy out the back to Aikens. Aikens onto Turner. Turner skips across field. Tries to get away from Ngannou. Comes again to put him to ground. Aikens now. Fires the pass out to Nakabawai, who intercepted that ball. I don't think it was meant for him. It was meant for Patton. And it's a turnover. That was the last tackle. And a really, really poor end to set for Featherstone. Possibly Featherstone's worst set with the ball in that particular passage of play. Not sure what was going on there. They were just trying to get the ball wide. And Nakabawai intercepting the pass. And eventually just took the tackle as Jubb comes forward for the visitors. And the clock says 7 minutes, maybe a touch more than that left in this game. Featherstone 24, York 30. Bailey plays it for Harris. Harris fends away from Patton. Patton comes again, puts him to ground by the shirt collar. 2 metres into Featherstone's half. Gannon comes forward, takes the tackle. Centre field, 40 out. Jubb comes right to Ty. Ty stands and takes on the defence. Featherstone defence didn't really come up to meet the big man as they eventually put him to ground now. That'll be the last one, 30 metres out. Come short side play. Harris is just going to put this in. He's put it into touch actually, back on the inside. Harris has come off the foot of Bose. Bose eventually has to put it over the dead ball line, but the pass ruled from Joe Brown to have gone forward before it came off Minikin's hand, and that will be the turnover. So Harris utilising a full box of tricks there. He looked for all money like he was just going to shuffle the ball off the boot over the touchline. Found the pass to Brown. Brown had a little bit of room, but the pass back in field. Forward. Game still on here. About 6 minutes of the game remaining at the Millennium Stadium. Probably 6.5. So we don't have the exact clock at the ground here. So they come forward now, Featherstone. Miniken's met in the tackle of Gannon, and this black and yellow jersey swarming around Miniken. He'll play it inside his 10. Featherstone at the wrong end of the field here. Need to get going forward. Gale stands in the tackle. Fishwick replaces Nakabawai for the final minutes of this contest. Springer gives the pass to Aikins. Aikins almost got through the line there. Desperate tackle coming in from Kinehorst to close down the danger. Bowes gives it to Turner. Turner bumps away from 1-2. Finds the offload. Turner for England. England coming across field. Gives it to Springer. Springer finds the offload. Featherstone keeping the ball alive here. Now into the arms of Patton. Gives it to Eden. Eden trying to go around Harris. And he picks up another 10 metres. Featherstone now inside the York half. Still tackles in the bag. Patton double pumps it. Gives it to Fishwick. The impetus taken out of the set somewhat with that plays. Fishwick will play it 40 out. Patton. Chip over the top. Back in field. Field's lost where the ball was there, but Will Jubb just dives on it. Jubb plays it, will play it eventually. Addy was waiting for a potential ball steal opportunity, didn't come as Brown comes forward for York. About 5 minutes of the game remaining here. Still Featherstone 24, York 30. Williams, no room forward for him as he's met by Miniken, still holding off the centre. Stands in the tackle, really slow play here. This is what York are content to do at the moment as Bailey comes forward. He's scragged to the ground there by Patton. Brown gives it on to Harris, on to Hingano. Hingano slipped into the tackle of Addy. Plays it 40 from his own line. York are going to have to kick early here, or kick from deep as the ball ricochets off Patton and goes over the touchline. Wasn't played at. This will be a turnover now on halfway. Featherstone don't have loads of time left. Need to show a bit of urgency here. Still trailing by the 6 points. Springer will play it just short of halfway. Referee's in position. Scott Mikulauskis blows time back on. Bowes gives it to Fishwick now. Fishwick bundled backwards. The tackle from York. Hingano underneath. Hingano been everywhere in attack and defence for the visitors, and is currently the difference between the two sides as Patton gives it out to Turner. Turner on to Day. Day into the backfield now. Good tackle in the end from Bailey, but good yards made forward by Featherstone. Bowes out of acting half. Finds Turner. Turner going across field now, looking for space. Turner straightens things up, almost slipped the net again. Turner gives it back to England. England keeps hold of it himself. He's absolutely hammered there in the tackle by Ty, but Featherstone only 10 metres away now. Huge last couple of players in this set coming up for Featherstone as Springer takes defenders forward with him. Penultimate tackle coming. Bowes gives it to Day. Day spins out of the challenge. He's held up a metre short. Last tackle for Featherstone. Biggest play of the game. Patton, inside ball for Eden. Eden fires the pass out to Miniken. Miniken dinks the ball in, he's got the ball back, Greg Miniken, and he's wrapped up a metre short of the line there, Greg Miniken. Must be about 3 minutes left in this game, if that. Featherstone Rovers 24, York City Knights 30. So they come forward now as Bowes flies off the line and hammers Jimmy Kinehorst, who'll play it 10 metres out from his own line. But York are just going to try and wind down the clock here as Ward comes forward. All adds to the pumps defensively for Featherstone. They need an error here, you feel. As the game is slipping away from them as Brown comes forward. He's put down 20 metres out. Short side play for York. Back in field to Dagger. Dagger into the backfield now. He's got men in support. He gives the ball to Harris. Harris is going to race away and score the try that will seal it for York City Knights. He puts the ball down in front of the jubilant York fans on that far side. And York have quite simply dominated the majority of this second half. Featherstone had done really well defensively for 4 players, but just caught them back on the inside. It was Harris who looped the ball back into Dagger on the inside. Dagger split them through the middle of the ruck, and he had Harris in support, and Harris just took the ball, raced away the final 30 metres, and put it down 10 metres to the right-hand side of the post, and that will be the try that seals the 2 competition points for York City Knights, and we'll see Featherstone head to their 4th straight defeat in the Betfred Championship. As the siren sounds in the background, that was the final play of the game, in fact, and Will Dagger will have the conversion attempt. He's 5 from 5 so far in this game. And his kick will be the last action of this game. It's Featherstone, a little bit of soul searching to do after this second half performance. As after dominating large parts of the first half, took a 12-point advantage into the break. It's been all York in the second half, really, as Dagger just pulls the ball to the side of the purse. The score, full-time scoreline now, Featherstone Rovers 24, York City Knights 34. As I mentioned, Featherstone led 18 points to 6 at half-time thanks to 3 tries in the first half. Brad Day, Caleb Akins and Paul Turner, with Jack Teanby responding for the visitors. But then after half-time, the half very much belonging to York, who scored 5 second-half tries. Joe Brown, Josh Daly, Akuma Tai, Ata Hingano, and right at the end, Liam Harris with just a Paul Turner second try in response for the home side. So it's a very entertaining and end-to-end game. Featherstone will think that this is very much another one that got away. And a lot of points conceded again if you've been super critical from James Ford's perspective. 34 points at home, perhaps a few too many to be shipping in once again. Featherstone ultimately, after really bright signs in the first half, Dec Patton had an exceptionally strong first half, but playing behind a beaten pack really, or a pack that wasn't going forward in the second half, quite a bit quieter in the second half, but certainly things to build on. And York ultimately deserving of that win in the end with a very, very dominant second half. They bounce back, they get their second successive win as Featherstone fall to their 4th straight defeat. Thank you very much for listening here on FRTV. Full time at the Millennium Stadium. It's finished. Featherstone Rovers 24, York City Knights 34. Have a very good afternoon.